Be me, 32F, PhD in Socio-Cultural Dynamics, graduated magna cum laude, currently working as an adjunct professor at a mid-tier arts college, also freelance writing for several high-impact online journals that pay in exposure and moral superiority, living in a gentrifying neighbourhood, bought a charming 1920s Victorian fixer-upper 2 years ago. It was an act of reclaiming space from patriarchy, taking a structure built by men and repurposing it for my own intellectual pursuits. The mortgage eats 60% of my income, but my parents help out with the emergencies. Tell everyone I'm house poor because I'm investing in my future. Financial literacy is a construct of capitalism anyway. It's a Thursday. Working from home on my latest paper, the phallic symbolism of urban infrastructure and the exclusion of the female gaze. Feeling particularly sharp today. Sipping fair trade coffee, look out the window at the construction crew down the street, all men, typical, write a paragraph deconstructing the toxicity of the blue-collar exclusive workspace, suddenly hear a noise from the kitchen, a distinct drip, ignore it, probably just the fridge settling or the house breathing. Old houses have character, that's what the realtor said. Return to writing, drip, drip, it's getting faster. Sigh loudly, adjusting my vintage horn-rimmed glasses. Get up and walk to the kitchen. Look under the sink. Puddle forming on the cabinet floor. Gross. Grab a handful of eco-friendly paper towels and toss them on it. Problem solved. Go back to my desk. 10 minutes later, hear a sound like a small stream. Rush back to the kitchen. Water is now flowing out of the cabinet doors onto my reclaimed hardwood floors. Panic sets in for a microsecond. Suppress it immediately. I am an educated woman. I have dissected the complexities of Foucault and Butler. I can handle a minor plumbing issue. It's just pipes. How hard can it be? Men gatekeep these trades to make themselves feel important. Open the cabinet. Water is spraying from a rusted joint in the U-bend. It's spraying directly onto my vintage apron meant for aesthetic cooking only. Shriek involuntarily. Okay. Step 1. Stop the water. Recall seeing a valve somewhere. Twist the little knob behind the toilet in the bathroom because I assume all water connects. Come back to kitchen. Water still spraying. Google how to stop sink leak on my iPhone. Video essay by a guy named Hank the Handyman comes up. Skip the intro because he looks like a stereotype. He says turn off the main shutoff valve. Where is the main shutoff valve? Run to the basement. It's dark. Smells like mold and forgotten history. Find a wheel on a pipe that looks important. It's rusted shut. Grab a towel to protect my hands. Strain against it. Nothing. Use all my gym-honed Pilates strength. Nothing. Scream, I hate this house, into the void. Kick the pipe. Pipe vibrates ominously. Run back upstairs. Kitchen is flooding. Grab a bucket. Put it under the leak. It fills up in 30 seconds. Realize I have to actually call someone. Sit at the dining table. Feet up to avoid the expanding puddle. Open laptop. Search plumbers near me. Avoid the big corporate chains. They are part of the conglomerate machine. Want to support a local woman-owned independent business? Search female plumber near me. 0 results. Shocking. Search inclusive plumbing services. 0 results. Sigh. Start calling the standard ones. First guy, can't get there till Monday. Second guy, we don't do emergency calls after 4 p.m. Third guy, I'm booked out 3 weeks, lady. Getting frustrated. Don't they know who I am? I have deadlines. This water is ruining the feng shui of my workspace. Finally find a listing for Mike's Plumbing, 24/7 emergency service. No website, just a phone number and a grainy photo of a wrench. Dial the number. Voice answers on the second ring. Deep, gravelly. Sounds like he smokes a pack of unfiltered cigarettes for breakfast. Mike's Plumbing. Hi, yes, I have a situation. My sink is leaking. Leaking or spraying? Well, it was spraying, now it's sort of gushing. Did you shut off the main? I tried, the valve is stuck. Okay, I can be there in 30 minutes. Emergency rate applies. Roll my eyes. Of course, the capitalist surcharge. Fine, just get here. Name and address? Give him the info. Hang up without saying goodbye. Power move. Spend the next 45 minutes swapping buckets. Water is seeping into the hallway. My socks are wet. Feeling incredibly victimized by the universe right now. Why does this happen to me? I'm doing important work. I'm dismantling systems of oppression, and I'm being thwarted by oxidized metal. Hear a heavy truck pull into the driveway. Look out the window. It's a massive white Ford F-350, lifted, pristine chrome. Probably gets 4 miles to the gallon. Environmentally disastrous. Sticker on the back bumper. Can't read it fully, but I see an American flag. Heart rate spikes with preemptive indignation. Doorbell rings. Compose myself. I need to establish dominance early. Open the door. Guy is standing there, maybe 50. Grey beard, close-cropped hair, wearing heavy work boots and Carhartt pants covered in grease stains. He is the living embodiment of everything I critique in my lectures. He's holding a heavy-looking toolbox. You the lady with the leak? Wince at lady. I am Dr. Reynolds. And yes, the sink is the issue. He doesn't react to the title, just nods. Right. Where's it at? The kitchen. Follow me. Lead him to the disaster zone. He walks in, boots squeaking on the wet floor, doesn't even apologize for tracking mud. Looks at the cabinet, looks at the bucket I'm holding. Okay, step back. He kneels down. I stand there, arms crossed, watching him like a hawk. Want to make sure he doesn't try to scam me. Tradesmen always try to upcharge women because they think we don't know anything. Joke's on him. I have a PhD. I know how to research. He reaches under the sink, does something with his hand. Water stops spraying instantly. How did you do that? Isolation valve on the feed line wasn't fully seized. Just had to use some torque. He stands up. Okay, water's off. Let's see the damage. He starts unpacking tools. Heavy, metal, loud tools. Clanking on my floor. Could you be a bit more gentle? Those are original hardwoods. He looks at the floor. They're already warping from the water, ma'am. Me putting a wrench down isn't going to hurt 'em more than the flood. Bristles at ma'am. Don't call me ma'am. It's patronizing. He pauses. Looks at me for the first time really. Eyes are blue, tired, completely unimpressed. All right, what do you want me to call you? Dr. Reynolds. Okay, Doc, here's the deal. Your P-trap is rotted out and the feed lines are galvanized steel, probably original to the house. They're corroded all the way back to the wall. So just patch it. Can't patch rust. Needs to be replaced. I gotta cut out the old steel, run new copper or PEX, put in new stops, and a new trap. That sounds excessive. I've watched 3 YouTube shorts on plumbing in the last hour. It's just a leak. Can't you just use tape or sealant? He sighs. A long, weary sigh, like he's explained this to a toddler 1,000 times. Tape is for threads, not holes. You want it fixed, or you want me to leave and you can tape it yourself. The audacity. He's holding my house hostage because he has the specialized tools. Fine. Do what you have to do. But I'm watching you. Suit yourself. Just don't stand in the light. He gets to work, pulls out a reciprocating saw. Noise is deafening, vibrates the whole kitchen. I retreat to the doorway, pull out my phone, start typing a tweet. Currently being held hostage by a toxic tradesman who thinks he can mansplain hydrodynamics to me. The arrogance of the working class when they sense a power vacuum is staggering. Hashtag patriarchy, hashtag capitalism. Post it, get 35 likes instantly. Feel validated, walk back into the kitchen. He's wrestling with a pipe, sweat on his forehead, grunt of exertion. It looks barbaric. You know, I say, raising my voice over the clanking. It's interesting how society values this kind of labor over intellectual labor. He doesn't look up. Is that so? Yes. I mean, you're just moving water from point A to point B. It's simple physics. Yet you charge exorbitant rates while educators are underpaid. He stops twisting the wrench, looks at me. You think this is simple? Conceptually, yes. It's not quantum mechanics. It's tubes. He chuckles, a dry, humorless sound. All right, tubes. He goes back to work. I feel the need to educate him further. Have you ever considered the environmental impact of the materials you use? Copper mining is devastating to indigenous communities. Lady, Doc, I'm just trying to keep your basement from turning into a swimming pool. Can we save the lecture for after I stop the bleeding? I'm not lecturing. I'm engaging in dialogue. But I suppose you're not used to being challenged by a woman with superior credentials. He stops again, stands up slowly. He's tall, towers over me, wipes his hands on a rag. Credentials? Yes. I have a doctorate. In plumbing? No. In social dynamics. Uh-huh. Well, in the dynamic of this kitchen, I'm the one who knows why the water goes down, and you're the one standing in a puddle. So let me work. I am stunned, literally shaking. The disrespect. I storm out of the room, go to the living room, turn on the TV to distract myself, fume silently. He thinks he's so smart because he can turn a wrench. He probably barely finished high school. He probably voted for that guy. He probably thinks climate change is not real. I bet he goes home to a trad wife who cooks him steak. The thought makes me nauseous. I check my bank account. I have $650 in checking until the 1st. Money from the university hasn't hit yet. How much could this possibly be? Couple $100? It's just some pipes. I'll just put it on the credit card. My visa is nearly maxed out from the trip to Korea last summer, but there should be room. An hour passes. Sounds of sawing, banging, and occasional cursing from the kitchen. Smell of solder and flux drifts out. It actually smells kind of competent. I hate it. Finally, silence. Hear the water turn on. Hear it run for a while. Then turn off. Heavy footsteps approaching the living room. Mike appears in the doorway, looking dirtier than before. Rust streaks on his arms. All done. You want to inspect it? Stand up with dignity? Yes, I should hope so. Walk into the kitchen. Look under the sink. It's beautiful. Shiny new copper pipes. Clean white PVC trap. New valves. Floor is wiped dry. Bucket is empty. Turn on the faucet. Water flows smoothly. No leaks. Shut it off. Try to find a flaw. The soldering looks a bit messy there. I point to a silver joint. That's a solid bead. Isn't going anywhere for 50 years. Well, it seems adequate. Adequate. Right. He pulls a metal clipboard from his back pocket, starts writing on an invoice. I cross my arms. So, what's the damage? $200? He keeps writing. Doesn't look up. Emergency call-out fee. $250. Labor. 2 hours at emergency rate. That's $400. Parts. Copper, valves, fittings, PVC. That's $120. Disposal fee for the old steel. $30. He does some math, rips the top sheet off, hands it to me. Total is $800. My jaw drops. Literally unhinges. $800. Yep. For 2 hours of work, for driving out here at 8 p.m. on a Thursday, having the parts in my truck, knowing how to do it without flooding your basement, and guaranteeing the work. This is robbery. This is price gouging. I feel the panic rising, heat flushing up my neck. I make $3,000 a semester per course. Do you know how long I have to work to make $800? He looks at me calmly. Don't know. Don't really care. That's the price. I'm not paying this. It's absurd. I'll pay you a fair wage. $25 an hour seems appropriate for manual labor. He laughs. Actually laughs out loud this time. $25 an hour? Doc, my apprentice makes $45. I run a business. Insurance, gas, tools, taxes. You aren't just paying for my time. You're paying for the 20 years it took me to learn how to fix your mess in 2 hours. My mess? The house is old. It's systemic failure. You ignored the leak. I saw the water damage on the wood. It's been dripping for weeks. You waited until it blew. That's on you. Caught in a lie. Stuttering. I have a very busy schedule. I contribute to the intellectual discourse of this nation. That's great. Does intellectual discourse fix pipes? You are an uneducated brute taking advantage of a single woman. He steps closer. Not threatening, just immovable. I've got a master's license. State certified. Bonded. Insured. I spent 5 years in trade school and apprenticeship. I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm not uneducated. I'm just educated in something people actually need. He points to the invoice. Payable upon receipt. Cash, check, or card. 3% fee for card. I stare at the paper. $800. I don't have $800 cash. If I put it on the card, I'll be over my limit. It will decline. The shame is creeping in. Cold, icy shame. I can't pay this right now. Voice drops to a whisper. Arrogance deflating like a punctured tire. Send me a bill. No billing for new customers. Policy. Too many people try to stiff me. He looks around the kitchen. Sees the expensive espresso machine. Sees the Le Creuset cookware, unused. Sees the iPad on the counter. You got nice stuff, Doc. You can afford it. It's all on credit, I burst out, tears stinging my eyes. The facade cracks. I have student loans. I have a mortgage. I'm an adjunct. I have no benefits. Start hyperventilating slightly. I have a PhD and I'm broke. He watches me crumble, doesn't offer a hug, doesn't offer comfort, just stands there holding the invoice. The silence stretches. The only sound is the hum of the refrigerator. He sighs again. Look, I can't walk away without payment. I already used the materials. I don't have it, I sob into my hands. Then you better call someone who does. The humiliation is total. I have to call my dad who told me not to buy this house. My dad who told me to get a degree in something practical. My dad who I haven't spoken to in 3 months because I called him a patriarchal enabler at Thanksgiving. Pull out my phone, hands shaking, dial Dad. Put it on speaker because I can't hold it steady. Ring, ring. Hello? Haley? Is everything okay? His voice is warm, concerned. Makes me feel worse. Dad. I have a plumbing emergency. Oh no. Are you hurt? No, but the plumber is here, and it's $800, and I choke on the words. I can't pay him. Silence on the other end. Mike is watching me, face impassive. Dad sighs. Put him on. I hold the phone out to Mike. Mike takes it. This is Mike. Yeah, galvanized rot. Replaced with L-type copper. New stops. Yeah. Uh-huh. It was bad. Yeah, I can take a card over the phone. He pulls a square reader out of his pocket, types in numbers, nods. Okay, it went through. I'll email you the receipt. Yeah, she's fine. Just a little shaken up. All right? You too. He hands the phone back to me. Dad is still on the line. Haley? Yeah, I whisper. I covered it. We'll talk about this later. About your budget. Thanks, Dad. Hang up. Stare at the floor. Mike packs up his clipboard, picks up his toolbox. Well, you're all set. Try not to ignore the drips next time. He walks to the door. I follow him like a ghost. At the door, he turns. You know, Doc, he says, hand on the knob. My daughter starts college next year. I look up, hopeful for a connection. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, she wants to study history. I told her go for it. I can pay for it. Cash. He winks. Not a flirtatious wink, a power wink. Have a good night. He walks out. Door clicks shut. Hear the diesel engine roar to life. Hear the truck back out. Silence returns to the house. I stand in the hallway, surrounded by my vintage decor, my books on theory, my degrees on the wall. Feel utterly, completely small. Walk back to the kitchen. Look at the copper pipes. They gleam under the cabinet light. Solid, real, undeniable. Look at my hands. Soft, uncalloused, useless. Look at my laptop screen. The unfinished paragraph about the exclusion of the female gaze. It looks like gibberish. Close the laptop, sit on the floor, put my head in my hands, and just sit there, listening to the silence, realizing that for all my words, I couldn't stop the water, and he could, and that makes him worth $500 an hour, and me worth nothing. That feeling when the patriarchy fixed my sink and paid for it. Next day, wake up with a headache, sunlight streaming through the curtains. For a second, forget the humiliation of last night. Then I see the bucket near the door. Memories flood back. Shame hits me like a physical blow. Drag myself out of bed, go to the kitchen, open the cabinet cautiously, half expecting it to be leaking again, dry as a bone. Perfect plumbing. Resentment flares up. How dare he be so competent? How dare he shame me in my own home? Make coffee, sit at my desk, try to work on my paper, can't focus. Every sentence I write feels fraudulent. The societal imposition of structural normativity. Delete. The gendered violence of domestic spaces. Delete. All I can think about is tape is for threads, not holes. Brutal simplicity. Real-world facts. My entire career is built on twisting facts to fit narratives. He just deals with reality. Open Twitter. See my tweet from last night. It has 150 likes now. Comments are full of support. You go, girl. Don't let him intimidate you. Tradesmen are so toxic. Demand a refund. Usually, this would fuel me. Today, it feels hollow. These people don't know. They weren't there. They didn't see me begging my dad for money. They didn't see the pity in the plumber's eyes. Close the tab. Check my email. Notification from the university. Spring semester course allocations. Open it with dread. My course load has been reduced due to budget cuts and lower enrollment in the humanities. I'm down to one class. One class. That's $3,000 for the next 5 months. Panic returns, worse than the leak. Grab my calculator. Mortgage, $2,200 a month. Utilities, $300. Groceries, $400. Organic is expensive. Student loan minimum payment, $450. Credit card minimums, $300. I am underwater, literally and metaphorically. Think about Mike's daughter going to college, paid for in cash, because her dad fixes toilets, because he provides a service people actually need. I provide. What? Opinions? Deconstruction? Who pays for deconstruction when the roof is caving in? Nobody. I have a sudden terrifying realization. I am non-essential. If the world ended tomorrow, Mike becomes a king. I become prey. Shiver. Get up. Pour the coffee down the sink that drains perfectly. Wash the mug. Put it in the back of the cupboard. 2 weeks later, phone rings. It's the department chair. Haley, bad news. The one class we offered you, we had to cancel it. Enrollment didn't meet the threshold. Silence. World stops spinning. So, I have no classes? I'm afraid not. We can keep you on the roster for fall, but fall is 6 months away. I know. I'm sorry. It's the market. Hang up. The market. The market that Mike owns. And I am rejected by. Walk to the kitchen, lean against the counter, stare at the copper pipes again. They are the only valuable thing in this house right now. Realize I have to sell the house. Can't afford it with zero income. Will have to move back in with my parents at 32 with a PhD into my childhood bedroom, where my dad will gently suggest I learn coding or nursing, and I will have to listen because he paid for everything. Tears come again. Not angry tears this time, defeated tears. Slide down the cabinet door. Sit on the floor, right next to the P-trap. Rest my head against the cabinet. It smells like PVC glue and failure. Take a deep breath. Pull out phone. Open Google. Type trade schools near me. Stare at the cursor blinking. Delete it. Type Starbucks hiring. Hit enter. 30,000 results. At least they have benefits. Laugh. A sobbing broken laugh. Echoes in the empty kitchen. Sound of a woman realizing she played the game wrong. And the game is over. Look at the invoice still on the counter. $800. Mike's signature at the bottom. Confident, Lukey scrawl. He won. Reality won. I am just a footnote in his ledger. Close my eyes. Listen to the house. No drips. Just silence. Slow and painful.